Angels return to Southern California tonight for flashback weekend and 80s night at the Big A against the Houston Astros. Well, the Halos finally returned home after a 3-4 road trip and trying to make it 2 in a row tonight. They welcome in the Houston Astros for the first of 3. Hi, everybody, from inside the Big A, alongside my broadcast partner, Mark Gubazon, Victor Rojas. So glad you could join us once again for Angels baseball here on Fox Sports West. And if you're going to look back at yesterday's win, which snapped a 4-game losing streak, let's start picking apart some of the good things that we saw, one of which was Chris Nelson. Multi-homer game, including his first career grand slam.
Yeah, Victor, he was outstanding in that game with the glove and the bat. And let's take a look at our AT&T U-verse rewind, how good of a day Chris Nelson did have at the plate and with that glove. After a 10-pitch at bat against Phil Hughes, gets a fastball, finally a mistake pitch, away and hits it out over the 385 sign. Great swing, great approach then with the bases loaded, his first career grand slam, part of his first career multi-home run game for Chris Nelson, but also did it with the glove, a big 5-4-3 double play against Vernon Wells. At that point, a tight ball game, was able to turn that double play, but with the bat and the glove and the energy he brings was certainly fantastic yesterday in New York.
Yeah, let's see if the Angels offense can continue it tonight against Brad Peacock going for the Houston Astros. Jerome Williams will till the slab for the Angels. And by the way, Peter Borges is back off the disabled list. Tommy Field optioned back down. We're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A. Sit back and relax. Lineups and first pitch when we return. We welcome you back out here to the Big A. Game one of this three-game set against the Houston Astros on flashback weekend. An incredible pair of parachute pants that my partner Mark Gubas is sporting for tonight's broadcast. The Angels have taken the field, as you can see, wear their 1989 throwback uniforms, while the Houston Astros busting out their 2013 version of their flashback unis. There's Bo Porter, the skipper of the Houston Astros. We'll check out his starting nine. They are bringing up the rear in the American League West, 30.5 games back, 39-81 on the season. Robbie Grossman leading things off in left field. Brett Wallace at first. Jose Altuve at second base. Jason Castro's had a nice season. The All-Stars, the catcher and the cleanup hitter. Chris Carter at DH. Matt Dominguez, Southern California product in third. Brandon Barnes, another Southern California product. He's in center. LJ Ho's in right field. And Jonathan Villar is the shortstop, and he will be batting ninth, taking on Jerome Williams with a 5-8 record and a 4.85 ERA.
Has thrown the ball very well in 2 starts versus the Astros this season. He allowed just 3 earned runs and 13 in the third. He attacked the strike zone very well. His last game out was unhittable through 5, but then in the 6th inning elevated some pitches and fell apart a little bit. Look for him to attack down in the strike zone here tonight.
Let's check out the Angels defensively behind Jerome Williams. Mike Trout in left field. That's right. Peter Borges is back off the disabled list. He's in center. Josh Hamilton is in right. The infield consists of Chris Nelson and Eric Ibar on the left side. Grant Green and Cole Calhoun getting to start at first base. That's the right side of the infield. Hank Conger's behind the dish.
Speaking of Peter Borges, out and getting that start in center field. We've seen him go out and get many a baseball. One of the best plays this entire season in Camden Yards. It's J.J. Hardy went over the wall. His first game since June 29th. Been hurt a couple times this season, but it's good to have the regular outfield back tonight for the Angels.
Yeah, he was talking before the game to the LA Times and saying still there are days, mornings, that it still bothers him. He spent about a week at rehab, on a rehab assignment, I should say, and still bothering him. He might even have a postseason surgery. Look at it in the postseason, but he is in the starting lineup and playing center field. First one tonight is outside for Jerome. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Grossman, the left fielder, is a switch hitter, hitting .249, 3 home runs and 12 runs batted in. Cypress, Texas native, just outside of Houston. That one is just down and away, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Again, Jerome has to start that pitch right in the middle of the plate, and Truss is going to run to the outside corner.
And it's 3-0.
Yeah, because you can't start with that type of movement on the corner, because it doesn't give that umpire an opportunity to call it a strike, because it could end up off the plate at the end.
Halos 6-7 against the Houston Astros this season. 30-32 here at home. That is their home record as Jerome delivers a strike. And even with that pitch right there, nothing wrong with that. We'll get it over fastball at 3-1.
This outfield, this Truss, if you can keep it in the yard, it's going to be caught.
3-1 pitch. Grossman fouls it off to the left. And a full count. Well, Jerome was off to an incredible start on Sunday in Cleveland. 5 2/3 innings. Then a base hit to Michael Bourne kind of opened things up against him. The Angels unable to hold a 5-0 lead for the second straight Sunday. Payoff pitch. Grossman loops one out to shallow left field. Trout is coming in. He'll play it on a hop. Leadoff man is on board via the single. That'll bring up Brett Wallace.
Yeah, I think when you look back at that game in Cleveland, Jerome gave up a hit to Michael Bourne, but he felt in his mind it was a mistake, and he allowed that to bother him. And then next minute you know, there was a couple home runs later, and he's out of the game, giving up 4 runs. He just has to believe he's going to be able to get ground ball outs as that ball falls in front of Mike Trout in left field. But he has that ability to work down and get the ground ball double play, which you need, because this Astro club, extremely aggressive stealing bases.
Yeah, since the All-Star break, the Astros ranked second among all major league teams with 33 bags. Milwaukee has 34. Grossman has 6, but he's been caught 4 times. As Wallace looks at a strike. Ed Wallace, the first baseman, hitting .211, 9 home runs, 24 runs batted in. A guy that, you know, when he's going good, can draw the walks. That was one of the things for him coming up through the minor leagues. A patient hitter. That's why they've got him in the 2 spot. And also because with Grossman on board, opens up the right side of the infield. This one's a swing and a miss, and that's the pitch. Inside has been kind of eating up Brett Wallace's play.
Yeah, especially that's a good cut fastball. He has him set up now for that 2-seam fastball to run off the hip and catch the inside corner. Well, we saw him in a home run down in Houston the other way. He's got good power to left center field. With his hands held up high, it'd be difficult to hit the inside pitch.
In the dirt, nice dig by Conger.
I always felt when I saw someone in the batter's box with their hands that high that you have a good chance, if you have a good fastball that night, of getting inside.
Good lead for Grossman at first. This one bounced over to second. Green gets handcuffed. He's only placed to first. So it should have been a 4-6-3 double play instead of just a 4-3 put out, and Grossman in scoring position.
Boy, especially for this guy, this seems to always get those big hits against the Angels, and Altuve coming up now. Still had time to look like you'd be able to get the force out at second, especially because Wallace doesn't run well. You're okay with him being at first base. Not as much with Grossman at second.
Man in scoring position for Jose Altuve. Second baseman. 280 average, 4 home runs and 40 runs batted in. All-star last year. Takes a breaking pitch down low. Altuve, guy that likes to turn on those pitches on the inside part of the plate. He's done some damage against the Angels.
A 308 career hitter against the Angels.
He shoots this one foul into the seats on the first base side. He evens up the count. Had a 6-game hitting streak snapped yesterday against Oakland. Team leader in stolen bases, 29. One out, man in scoring position. That's Robbie Grossman at second. 2-1. Jerome, 120 and a third innings under his belt this year. 127 hits, 74 strikeouts, 40 walks. Spin move. Grossman not going anywhere.
It's odd how the defense is set up. It's as if he's more so going to hit the ball up the middle or to right field out to it. We've seen him down in Houston a bunch of those games turning on pitches inside. Majority of his power to left field.
Breaking pitch drops in for a strike. 2-2.
Looks like in right field, Josh is dealing with that little sliver of sunshine on him. He might want to come up anyhow a little bit further up, in just in case of fastball away. Take away that flare into the outfield from Altuve potentially.
Two on the way. Altuve pulls this one to short. Ibar has it. Grossman goes back to second base, 2 down. That's what you want to see from Jerome. The ground ball outs. At least in a perfect world.
Yeah, because he could sink the ball very well, and his changeup I thought was excellent his last game out. He's thrown 1 so far in this game. Didn't miss by much.
So 2 outs, and here's Jason Castro, the catcher. 272 average with 14 home runs and 45 runs batted in. 31 doubles for Castro this year. Swings and misses on that cut fastball down and in. 0-1. Castro from Castro, California. And why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you being from Gubazaville, Pennsylvania. Rolls right off the tongue.
Oh, there's no question.
0-1 pitch. That's inside.
Just outside of Altoona, Pennsylvania,
yeah.
I'm sure.
But I'm sure it's Eastern PA, right?
Oh,
that's
of course.
Where all the cool guys live.
Yes, that's what Pennsylvania is. It's not, west of Harrisburg. That's Ohio.
Or 3/4 of the state.
Yeah. Or, well, maybe West Virginia also.
Okay. 1 ball, 1 strike. 17 pitches thrown by Jerome. Grossman with a leadoff single, then a couple of ground outs. Outfield playing shallow. Hamilton back a couple of steps as Castro again committing to that pitch. 1-2.
What a real good cut fastball. Now you can go cut fastball once again, or a hard slider started off the inside corner. See if you go to that back leg and get a swing and miss.
Big lead for Grossman at second. This one's fouled back.
Changeup he went with. He had a pretty good hack at the changeup. It was a little bit too firm for a changeup at 86 middle part of the plate. Rim wants to throw that pitch around 82 and have it run down and away.
That's one pitch that was very effective for him in that game against Cleveland.
Excellent changeup for him, because he has that good two-seam fastball. If you can back it up with a changeup, that's two great pitches, a similar plane of the plate, but different speeds.
Just missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Trying to get out of this first inning unscathed. Chris Carter, the DH, is on deck. It's a Houston team that is 20-38 out on the road. That's a pretty good pitch. Full count. Paul Schreiber, the home plate umpire.
Go right back with his fastball. You got to believe he would have to chase it. Castro would just miss the pitch before.
Here's the payoff, and he walked it. So, first inning continues. Chris Carter, DH, coming up.
That's why I look at that pitch. When he was ahead of the count 1-2, thought he might come back with a slider after a good cut fastball. Instead, he went with a changeup, and all of a sudden he started tracking the ball better in that at bat. That hard cut fastball, come back with the same pitch or a hard slider, same plane, down and in, very difficult to make contact with.
Carter hitting .210, but 22 home runs and 56 RBIs. Fouls this one back. He is certainly prone to the strikeout. He's gone down 158 times this year. 372 at-bats.
This team in general strikes out a lot.
Not so much against the Angels.
I don't know what it is about that, but 1,138 strikeouts as a team.
Carter pulls one foul.
One of the closest to them, Minnesota, with 1,010 punch-outs.
Carter at the start of the day tied with Mike Napoli for the most strikeouts in the American League. Porter in his first year as the manager of the Stros, serving as the third base coach of the Washington Nationals. No balls and 2 strikes on Carter. Grossman, the base runner, at second. Castro at first. A long first inning for Jerome. Carter takes inside. Did he go? No. Chad Fairchild, of no relation to Morgan, says he did not go. See, now that's an 80s reference.
Yes, and he did go. Is it Falcon's Crest she was in back in the day?
Falcon's Crest. Yeah, of all the shows, that would be the one. Here's the 1-2. And that missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Remember that soap opera?
I do remember.
Yes.
That's just that's like pulling a rabbit out of your hat.
It's the magician.
Yeah, like Doug Henning used to do.
Yes. Is that another 80s reference also? You're on fire.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, and 2 on. Out straight back. Dangerville there.
Yeah, you don't want to go there again if you're Jerome. Now you have set up, throw that hard breaking ball off the plate outside corner. Just try that. He's a guy that swings and misses a lot. You've already had him throw a pitch right in the middle of the plate. Finish him off right here, Jerome, and get on a roll from this point.
Another 2-2. Breaking ball got him looking. Down goes Carter. It took 27 pitches, but we are through the top of the first. Shuck, Calhoun, and Trout coming up at the bottom of the first scoreless. Thing he had in that first to get out of it unscathed, and no scores. We start at the bottom of the first. We'll check out Mike Scioscia starting 9. The Halos 15.5 back in the West. In fourth place with a 54-66 record of J.B. Shuck leading things off at DH. Cole Calhoun at first. Mike Trout at left. Hamilton, the cleanup hitter at right. Eric Ibar short. Chris Nelson, multi-homer game, including his first grand slam of his career yesterday. He's at third. Hank Conger behind the plate. Grant Green at second. Peter Borges off the disabled list. His batting ninth and playing center. Taking on the 25-year-old native of Palm Beach, Florida by the name of Brad Peacock.
Yeah, Peacock fastball, 90-94, slider, curveball, pretty solid changeup. He's given up a lot of hits and runners. 41 hits in 42 innings pitched, 23 walks, 11 big flies.
First one is in for a strike. JB hitting .294 with a home run and 30 runs batted in. 15 doubles, 3 triples. In the leadoff spot yesterday, went 2 for 5, including an RBI and a stolen base. Maybe he fouls it back. No balls and 2 strikes. Facing his former team. JB, a 6th round pick out of Ohio State by the Houston Astros and allowed to leave. The Angels signed him in the offseason. Made the team out of spring training. He's had a fine rookie season. 0-2 pitch. Strikes out swinging for out number 1. Let's check out the Astros defensively. It's Grossman, Barnes, and Hose out in the outfield from left to right. Dominguez, Villar, Altuve, and Wallace from third to first. Castro behind the plate.
Well, I have to highlight Brandon Barnes. He made some outstanding plays this season against the Angels. SoCal native, born in Orange. He also has 6 assists this season. Not only did he covers a lot of ground, but a very accurate throwing arm. Well, he can cover some ground in center.
He's made some great plays against the Angels and other teams as well, but he's haunted the Angels, especially at Minute Maid Park. Calhoun hitting .241 now, 3 home runs and 7 runs batted in. He had a rough stretch against the Yankees, pitching him quite a bit away. Off speed is outside. 2 balls and no strikes. We'll check out our Hyundai key to the game.
A little Led Zeppelin, the rain song. I think with Peacock, the way he's been pitching this season, a lot of base runners rain those hits and home runs to score some runs, especially early in the game, and allow Jerome some room to challenge hitters more as the game progresses.
3 balls and no strikes, and Trout on deck. Peacock coming off a no decision. 1 run, 3 hits, 6 innings against the Texas Rangers. A loss for the Astros, 5-4. He had 5 strikeouts, 4 walks though in that game. 3-1.
One thing we've seen from the Astro pitchers, though, even though their ERA team are very high as a pitching staff, when they get on a roll and start getting the Angel hitters to swing and pitches out of the strike zone, they become very effective.
Calhoun pops it up. Bobby Grossman, the left fielder, is there. One away. Hey, tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world. Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. Not only do we welcome you to our broadcast, we thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you so much.
2 quick outs for Brad Peacock here in the first, and here's Mike Trout. Trout second in the American League still, batting average at .330 behind Miguel Cabrera. 21 home runs and 78 runs batted in. As he delivers down low, Peacock that is. 1 ball, no strikes. Fouls this one off to the right. Tried yesterday, 1 for 3. A walk, a hit by pitch, a double, a couple of punch outs. Extended his string, though, of consecutive games reaching base safely to 37. Longest active streak in Major League Baseball. 4th longest in the season. 2nd in Angels history. Orlando Cabrera's 63-game run occurred from April 25 to July 6th, I should say, 2006.
Yeah, I remember that one well. It seemed like every time you looked around, he was getting on base and scoring runs.
This one's popped up on the infield. Altuve calls off Wallace, and the Angels go down in order. Peacock throws just 11 pitches. We're through 1 with no score. First.
Coming up late in the game, we'll check out the headlines from around the majors on the Carl's Jr. Sports Update. On tap tonight, new head man for the Fightins. Fightin' Phils make a decision with their manager. And the MLB expands replay. We will have all those details on exactly what we're going to see from expanded replay next season.
Here at the top of the 2nd inning, it's Dominguez, Barnes, and Hose against Jerome Williams. Ended up throwing 28 pitches. 1 strikeout, 1 walk, 1 hit allowed. First one is in for a strike. Matt Dominguez hitting .226, 14 home runs and 56 runs batted in. I can't believe you put that in your Carl's Jr. update, because I wanted to kind of talk to you about it. I have to wait.
Yeah. Let's take a couple deep breaths.
It's hard for me.
The regular part of Pennsylvania, remember? I'm sure all those people in Pittsburgh really appreciate that.
You can send your emails into Mark Gubiza at gooby.com.
Oh, yeah.
There's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You should have your own domain.
No, there's no question. Along with my own city while I'm at it, right?
Well, that would be the home website of Gubizaville.
Yes.
in our own little minds. 1-2 is a called strike three. Got the bottom part of the strike show. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jerome. 1 out.
Great location underneath the hands, inside corner. Freezes Dominguez. We've seen Dominguez with power to right field. This perfect pitch there, right on the inside corner. Stayed down. 3 of the 4 pitches in that sequence were down from Jerome. That's where he has to live to be successful.
There's Brandon Barnes. Center fielder takes a strike. .235 average, 6 home runs, 27 runs batted in. Cooled off offensively as that pitch is down low. That's 1-1. Jerome with back-to-back punch-outs now. Brandon, a product of Catella High School, Cypress Junior College, as he pulls this one down a left field line foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's a ball probably against Grant Green also.
This being a throwback weekend today, representing the 80s, and this is how we're introducing all the players, not just the visiting team.
Great movie.
Yeah, and his dark helmet, and he's about to jam the radar. Literally jam the radar.
I'm sure he appreciates that picture.
That's off the end of the bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Spaceball's just one of those weird movies. Courtesy of Mel Brooks.
Oh yeah. Mel Brooks has made some tremendous movies over the years.
Interesting word, tremendous.
Yeah.
1-2 on the way. This one's looped foul behind the dugout. Jerome needing some quick innings here, and he was capable of doing that, kind of getting back locked in. We saw at times in that start against Cleveland in which he would fall behind in the count, but he would work his way back into the count and get an out. He only allowed 2 hits through those first 5 2/3 innings. Barnes backing out. The 1-2. Check swing. Didn't miss by much, but it did miss inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Jerome feels real good about throwing his fastball inside the right-handed batters, it seems to be, early on.
But if he can get one to be a called strike on a right-handed batter, opens it up for him. This one's fouled off to the right.
But the bottom line is you've shown enough of those pitches inside now that you can start working away, because as the game progresses and you start losing your accuracy with your fastball and you're going inside, that's when you're apt to make a mistake and it can hit a long way.
Breaking pitch in the air to left. Trout going back on it on the warning track, and at the wall, leaps up, and he got it. He may not like left field, but he plays it like a Hall of Famer.
And the Trout farm loving it. He tracked it well, knew he was by the wall, timed his leap. Another outstanding play from Trout. He had to go a long way. He was playing shallow. Got back to the wall, times his leap, robs a home run from Brandon Barnes. Finally happened to Barnes. All the time he's made those great plays against the Angel hitters. Well, this time it happened against him as Trout leaps up and makes an outstanding play.
Now, off the top of my head, I think that's the second time Trout has done that. Didn't he rob Barnes in Houston on a ball in the alley?
That one, he jumped and dove in the air. Yes. Had a chance to drive in a couple runs.
Yeah.
Key part of that win down at Minute Maid Park. Great leap. Outstanding play.
Bouncer toward the middle. Green to his right has it. Off balance throw. Jerome with a 1-2-3 second. Well, to the bottom of the second. Josh Hamilton, Eric Ibar, and Chris Nelson to face Brad Peacock with no score. Robbed by Mike Trout, who just snuck around the wall on the left-hand side there. A 1-2-3 inning for Jerome Williams. So we're scoreless here at the bottom of the second. Hamilton, Ibar, Nelson. They face Brad Peacock, who had himself a 1-2-3 first, including a strikeout. Hamilton fouls the first one back into the left, and a great catch
play
by a young fan who brought his glove in the club seats.
That's a game-saving play. That was going right for some fans right behind him.
Very Trout-like. Josh Hamilton, otherwise known as He-Man.
He-Man Hamilton?
But don't tell anybody. It's a nickname amongst friends.
Yeah. We'll have to make sure we remind him of that tomorrow.
228 average this year, 17 home runs at 58 runs batted in. Lines this one out to left center field. Grossman moving over is there, makes the catch. There's out number one. Josh had a multi-hit game yesterday, going 2 for 5. We'll bring up Eric Ibar with one out, nobody on. 281 average for Eric. 4 home runs and 40 runs batted in. Back in the lineup yesterday after missing a game and a half after getting spiked in the left calf Tuesday night. Dominguez playing it over at third base. Tough guy to bunt against. Very good defensively. He's committed 11 errors, but he is pretty smooth and can charge the baseball very well.
Yeah, quick with his transfer. What do you think of a high school team with Matt Dominguez at third and Mike Moustakis at short? That's what that team had, at Chatsworth High School team. But you could say left side of the infield, I might think.
Lifted down the left field line. Everyone giving chase, but it's in the seats about 3 rows deep. 1-2. One-two pitch. Ground ball toward the hole. Villar to the backhand has it. Fires at the first, and Ibar is called out.
It's a pretty good arm.
Yeah. But from here, it looked as if Ibar's foot got there. The home player, first base umpire Chad Fairchild, making the emphatic call.
Villar's got a strong throwing arm. A little bit of a bobble, but still plants that foot, fires a throw over. Real close play at first base.
Yeah.
Looked like the ball was in the glove just as Ibar's foot was going to hit the base.
So we're not going to challenge that one for a replay.
Nope.
Let that one go.
We got one challenge in the first 6 innings, though. Ooh, that's even a little different angle. It's good. That'd be a tough call. That's one of those tough plays that you're going to have to see when replay is expanded. That's a tough call. That's one of those ones as a manager you're more than likely not going to challenge at that point for that type of play. But if there's a man on third with 2 outs, maybe.
Chris Nelson, 255 average, 2 home runs, both coming yesterday. 14 runs batted in this year. Fouls that one back. Good hack at a 95-mile-per-hour fastball.
Well, the grand slam certainly impressive for Nelson yesterday, but that 10-pitch at bat, and then he hit a home run to right center field. That was unbelievable.
Bouncer down the line, and that is a foul ball. Scoreless here in the second. Halo still looking for that first base runner. Peacock stays 5. He's retired all 5. 1 ground out, 3 fly ball outs, and a punch out. Lifted in the air to right field. This one chasing HOU's back. The right fielder makes the catch. That ball move around that glove a little bit.
Didn't look real comfortable.
No, 2 in the books. We're still scoreless. Big Bang Friday. The crowd in the house on this warm Friday night. John Williams will be facing 9-1-2 for the Astros here. This is a 6-game homestand, 3 against the Stros. Tomorrow is 60s night. And today we get what, Queen Nation,
yes.
Queen tribute band, and tomorrow Rain, a Beatles tribute band after the game. VR takes a breaking ball for a strike, showing bunt. The shortstop playing in his 21st game in the big leagues. 258 average, 4 doubles, and 1 RBIs. That one's down and in. Switch hitter, 22-year-old native of the Dominican Republic.
Tremendous speed.
Yep.
11 stolen bases already this year. He's only played in 20 games.
Good off speed pitch. And it's 1-2. He was originally with the Phillies and came over to the Astros in the Roy Oswalt deal. Seen a number of shortstops now for the Astros this year. It's up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Merwin Gonzalez, Ronnie Cedeno. There's Merwin.
Didn't he broke up the perfect game, right?
Yeah, he did. This is going to be trouble if it's fair and it trickles foul. But still the 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, I remember watching that game. We were in Cincinnati when Darvish was dealing.
Clean single right through the legs. The 5-hole at Minute Maid Park. Much better inning for Williams in the second. A 1-2-3 frame, including a punch out. Down and in, a full count. Payoff pitch, and he lost it. So ahead of the count, ends up walking him. Second walk he is issued. Take a look at our AT&T Twitter poll question of the series. Who was the most dominant Houston pro athlete? Earl Campbell, Nolan Ryan, Hakeem Olajuwon. Hashtags are just below each. Send us a tweet at Fox Sports West. We'll give you a running total a little bit later on.
Did it back in the 80s and the dominance at that point for Houston sports. Keem was ridiculous. Not only was he a great basketball player, he was a tremendous soccer goalie. That'd be pretty difficult to get soccer ball by him.
That's an incredible nugget right there. I did not know that.
You didn't know Falcon Crest either?
No, I knew Falcon Crest. It was a spin-off of Knots Landing. My personal favorite.
Yes.
Next to Dynasty, of course.
Of course.
1 ball, no strikes. But I did not know that soccer goal.
Yeah, he was a great, great athlete. That's why what's the big thing with him, and he's going to be working with Dwight Howard down in Houston as far as the footwork. He's had great footwork, and that's what the big thing that everyone said that Dwight Howard maybe lacks thereof. So we're going to be working that part of it.
Who's working on the free throws with Dwight? Quick throw to first. Gonna bring Shaq in. Hack of Dwight late in the game. Here, no score.
Get Rick Barry to show him that underhand flip.
Isn't that amazing? More guys don't do that.
Yeah.
No, it's not a quick throw. More guys don't do that as effective as it was for him.
He was, what are you, close to 90% free throw percentage?
.50 pitches thrown by Jerome. Grossman had a single in the first, so he's 1 for 1. 2 balls, no strikes. Can't keep pitching from behind. Doesn't matter if the team is the Houston Astros. They've struggled and virtually last in a lot of the offensive categories. Just ask the New York Yankees. Virtually last in every offensive category going into that series.
Boy, but every hitter is so much better when they're in fastball counts. Example 1 right there. That's fastball, and he had a great swing at it. I'd like to see Bo Porter have some type of action on this pitch right here. 2-1 count.
Big lead for him over at first base, and they'll check in on him, and the ball gets away from Calhoun. He might end up at third base. And he does.
Pretty quick throw, and a pretty good throw too. Calhoun unable to catch the ball and try to apply the tag quickly on the throw. That's, as a pitcher, that's what you want. You want to throw right at the base. Sometimes difficult for a first base, especially one that hasn't played a lot there at first. And Cole Calhoun to be able to see where the runner is diving back and catch and apply a tag.
Mark Trumbo just getting a day off today. Mark's been struggling offensively. So Cole getting to start at first. 4th error of the year for him. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Good changeup and a fastball count for Jerome.
Brent Wallace on deck. Nobody out. Called strike 3. Down he goes. 3 strikeouts for Jerome. All have been looking.
Good sequence. Good changeup. Was in with a 2-seam fastball and catches the inside corner. After all the pitches, majority of the pitches away, sneaks that 2-seamer inside to freeze him. They'll bring the infield in with that strikeout now.
Wallace grounded out to Grant Green in the first inning. Now Nelson comes in for another meeting.
Well, you might see with the first or second pitch, Hank Conger with a pickoff also at third base. Seen Bo Porter put a suicide squeeze on a lot.
1-0. 3 punch outs, 2 walks. There's Bo. This inning started with a walk to Villar. Ended up at third base. A 2-bag error by Cole Calhoun on a pickoff attempt.
Very effective changeup again from Jerome Williams.
A 1-ball, 1-strike count. Ball's a Northern California product. Fouls that one at the plate. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Arizona State University, that's where Wallace went to school. First round pick by the Cardinals, 13th overall in 2008.
I wonder if Jerome will try that 2-seam fastball now inside.
Got Grossman for the first out on that pitch. There's the 1-2. Ooh, he tried it.
That looked like a pretty good pitch. See if it catches the corner. And it does.
Now the 2-2. Got him to chase. Still at 2 balls and 2 strikes as that pitch count continues to tick upward. And you pointed out earlier that that changeup that he went through in the first inning, 86 miles per hour. That last one, 86 miles per hour. You don't have a whole lot of separation there between that fastball and changeup.
Yeah,
at least what you would want.
Yeah, that's about 6-7 miles. The only thing he has going, certainly with the changeup, is his movement on it.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes. There's that cut fastball. 2 down.
Boy, this is an absolute perfect sequence of pitches. 2-seam fastballs in, cut fastballs in, changeups, 3 changeups. As a matter of fact, during the course of that at bat, and then finishes them off with a cut fastball inside. And a great view of that. When a true cut fastball is you off center the grip of the baseball and it has cutting action in and off the plate against Wallace.
Jose Altuve, the second baseman, swings the first one and grounds one to second. Grant Green has it. And Jerome works his way around a leadoff walk and a 2-base error. Well, to the bottom of the third, but still no score. West is offering a special discount for Angels tickets this month with a Fox Sports West ticket takeover. Log on at angels.com/FSWest during our broadcast, and you can enter promo code FOXSTEEL. That means you will save up to 50% on select tickets while supplies last. All Ticketmaster fees apply. Log on now. Here in the bottom of the third, it's the bottom third of the order. Conger, Green, and Borges. The Angels still looking for that first base runner against Brad Peacock. 6 up and 6 down, including a strikeout. Saying Conger will step in. Hitting 230, or pardon me, 241, 6 home runs, 15 runs batted in.
Got that great picture on the Jumbotron of Super Conger brothers.
It's 1 ball, no strikes. Super Conger brothers. One ball, 1 strike.
Hank 1 for 1 in his career versus Peacock with a home run, 2-run home run.
Rips this one into right field, even with the overshift on a 2-1 pitch. Hank is the first base run of the game for the Angels. To bring up Grant Green. Hey fans, get your own part of Flashback Weekend and bid on the authentic uniforms worn by the Angels tonight. The retro 80s jerseys and pants are now available for auction. For more info and to make your bid, visit angels.com/flashback. I didn't want to jump your line there.
It's helping out.
You get the top and the bottom, or you could just order or bid on the pants. We'll have to research that. Green shows bunt, pulls it back, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. Gooby's typing away on the computer, getting his all the info. .286 average for Grant. A couple of doubles and an RBI. Had a nice series in New York. Let's this one foul and out of play.
Peacock has allowed 7 stolen bases in 8 attempts. Not that Hank Conger is going to have to do a straight steal here, but there could be a hit and run put on here at some point.
Grew up in Palm Beach County, Florida. Drafted by the Washington Nationals in the 41st round as a drafted follow in 2006, and then signed after his first year of junior college. Breaking ball is in there, 1-2. Pitched in the big leagues with the Nationals in 2011, just a couple of games. Houston got him before the spring training started in the Jed Lowry deal. And Green goes down swinging. Round number 1. Second punch out for Peacock. Here's Peter Borges. Nice to have him back off the disabled list. Tommy Field option down to the minor leagues. .333 average for Peter. 40 games this year. 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in. He will promptly look at a strike.
Yeah, I asked him if he, during his course of his rehab when he was swinging the bat, whether it's off the end of the bat or a swing and miss, if it bothered his wrist. And he said at that point, no. No real discomfort. It's a matter of getting his timing right, which is always a difficult thing as a hitter to do when you've been out for a while.
Got hit against the Astros on June 29th at Minute Maid. Jordan Lyles hit 2 batters in that game. Peter was one of them. That happened in the 4th inning of that game. The Angels won that Saturday afternoon game. Two other guys that are currently on the disabled list, Howie Kendrick and Albert Pujols. Albert no longer has the boot on.
Well, you just feel that Albert is somehow going to get back and get some at-bats in before the season's over.
This one's popped up on the first base side. Brad Wallace near the railing, goes down the steps, and that is a foul ball. Out of play.
Yeah, you can catch the ball before you fall into the dugout, and you'd still be a catch, but you can't go in the dugout to catch the baseball. Once he slipped and fell in the dugout, even though he caught the ball, it's not a rule to catch. If he catches it, then falls in, it would be an out.
It's a heck of a catch, even slipping down the steps.
Pretty impressive. Kept his eye on the baseball.
1-2 count now. Conger over at first base with 1 out. Ward has been on the disabled list twice this year. Remember that 19-inning extravaganza against Oakland.
That fast game?
Yeah. 6 hours long, 6 hours plus. Pulled a hamstring in that one. I remember when he came out of that game at Houston too. Weren't sure if it was an old fracture that was in there or a new one.
Yeah, he wasn't sure either.
Called strike 3, and there are 2 out.
Talk about painting a corner. He certainly did that with that fastball.
But Brad Peacock, unfortunately for the Angels, reminded me a little too much of Bud Norris.
I mean, coming into the game, 23 walks in 42 innings. That's not real good control, but he's had very good control tonight so far. You look at how many home runs he's given up. 11 in 42 innings coming into this game.
Top of the order, J.B. Shuck pulls this one towards second. Altuve comes in. And the inning comes to an end. A leadoff single stranded at first. We've played 3 here at the Big A. Still no score.
Jerome Williams with some great movement. The slider gets Chris Carter. Fastball inside. Matt Dominguez freezes. Two-seamer. Gets to the inside corner and a hard slider. Finish off the last inning against Wallace. 4 punch-outs in the game for Jerome. Go home with 2 walks. 7 punch-outs his last game against Cleveland. I like his changeup so far and his command of his two-seam fastball. He's got to continue that mindset of attacking the strike zone.
Yeah, worked around a leadoff walk, and the error it was actually charged to Jerome, not Cole. In the 3rd inning. They since changed it.
They changed it over to E3.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's a pretty good throw by Jerome. Jason Castro drew a walk in the 1st inning. No official at bat for him. Hits this one sharply to short and picked by Ibar. Falls down, gets rid of it, and still got him. What a play by Eric Ibar.
You can put that down as your best play of the night. Not only fields that rocket, falling, throws a missile over the first base. This ball is by him, stumbles, still an accurate throw from Eric Ibar. There's a reason why he's won a Gold Glove at shortstop. What a play. That's an unbelievable throwing arm.
Does that deserve a chalk outline tomorrow before batting practice?
Yes. He did it for his buddy Vlad Guerrero, was here tonight.
Yeah.
He's one of his all-time favorites. Best friends.
Looks good, man. Vladdy looks good.
Yeah, he did.
One ball, no strikes on Chris Carter. Struck out in the 1st. But just by that swing right there, he just stayed there all day long on Carter. 1-1.
You don't have to show fastball in unless you go well off the plate in. Like that. That had a good movement off the plate. All he can do with that one is pull it foul if he makes any contact.
Down to the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Conger back outside. Here's the 2-2, and this one's pulled foul. So now
that was a scary spot for a fastball to run back inside against Carter. Jerome knew that. See if he makes an adjustment now.
Got him swinging on the off-speed pitch. 2 down. Strikeout number 5 for Jerome. Hey, folks, tomorrow, Flashback Weekend presented by Total Performance Engine Oils continues. The Angels taking on the Astros. Remember, tomorrow, 6:05 start. The Halos will wear their 1960s uniforms, and fans can enjoy a post-game concert featuring Beatles tribute band Rain. For more info and to purchase those tickets, just log on at angels.com/concerts. So from Purple Rain tonight to just rain tomorrow.
Yes.
Was there a band name Rain? You're thinking about it.
Yeah, they're playing tomorrow night.
This is tough foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. That look you just gave me was priceless. Matt Dominguez struck out looking, leading up to second. The 1-1. Line back up the middle. 2-out base hit. Good piece of hitting by Dominguez. Puts a man on for Brandon Barnes. Jerome was vying for his second 1-2-3 inning. Had one in the 2nd inning. And Brandon Barnes now will step to the plate. Barnes robbed of extra bases, if not a home run in the second inning. Mike Trout, as this was fouled back over the screen. .73 pitches for Jerome. .45 have been strikes. Mentioned the 5 punch outs. 3 looking, 2 swinging. There's also walked 2. This one hit towards short. Ibar's got it. Feeds Green, and they force out Dominguez. And the inning comes to an end, but not without a fantastic defensive play by Eric Ibar. We hit to the bottom of the 4th. Still scoreless. America's new sports network is almost here. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for live sports. Shows like Crowd Goes Wild, Fox Football Daily, and Fox Sports Live, the news and highlight show fans have been waiting for. America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1, premieres tomorrow. It's here, finally.
In one day.
Yeah. Cole Calhoun leading things off, and he looks at a strike. Fox Sports 1 kicks off at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Calhoun takes upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cole 0 for 1, hit a fly ball to left in the first. 3 strikeouts, no walks, 1 hit allowed for Brad Peacock. Two and 1 now. Cole went 1 for 16 in that series against the Yankees. 2 for 21 on the road trip. Swings the high fastball. 2-2. Trout on deck. Hamilton after him. Just got a piece of it. Keeps his at-bat alive. Still at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
An opportunity to see him twice now. See if the adjustments are made now by the Angel hitters against him. They mentioned he's given up 11 home runs coming in this game in his 42 innings pitched.
Big rip and a foul back. Still at 2-2. First career start for Peacock against the Angels. Second appearance. And an inning and a third in relief on June the 2nd here. 1 and 4 mark and a 6.43 earned run average coming into this one. 2-2 again. Off speed. Pulled to second. Altuve is there. One away. There, Mike Trout to Rob Brandon Barnes in the second inning. Let's go back to Houston, June 28th.
Well, this is a tremendous play, game-saving play in the alley. Twice now he's had outstanding plays against the Astros in the second inning. Brandon Barnes to the wall. Thought he had a home run, but Trout robs him. A 2-run home run in front of the Trout farm. Why not hit a home run into the Trout farm right now?
They're just happy to have him back.
And he's right there.
Yeah. Playing center field. Sports has been on the disabled list.
I mean, look what Trout has done again this season. Top 4 in batting average, runs, hits, extra base hits, doubles, triples, walks, slugging percentage.
Trout is Luke Skywalker. Yoda on his back. Giving him hitting advice.
He said, look for the fastball. Middle in right now.
This one grounded to short. VR has it. 2 outs. Can you do the Yoda voice?
No, and I'm allowed to have to do so. You?
Nah, never could. What about the Chewbacca?
No.
You almost did it.
That was a fly going right.
Hamilton 0 for 1 with a fly ball to left field. Fouls the first one off the left. Bounce that one out in front of the plate. A couple of feet.
Jason Castro going to replace the divot from that pitch.
Ball at a strike. One and 2. Halos wearing their 1989 uniforms. Although I don't think they had the button downs in '89, did they? Still think it was the V-neck.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that.
Still a good look.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is a great looking uniform.
Two on the way. Hamilton strikes out swinging in a 1-2-3 inning yet again for Brad Peacock. 4 in the book, still no score. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Rethink possible. By CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. CarMax, start here. And by Toyota's nationwide clearance event. Now you can save big on every Toyota car, truck, and SUV.
Top of the fifth here at the Big A. First of three against the Houston Astros. Jerome Williams has thrown quite a few pitches, 74. He has settled down through 4 innings, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Facing 8, 9, and 1. This one is cut on and fouled back by L.J. Hose. 75 pitches now thrown by Jerome. Count even up at 1-1. The Astros right fielder grounded out. Grant Green in his first at bat. It's down in the dirt. Picked up in a trade from the Orioles. Washington, D.C. native. 2-1 pitch. This one's looped down the right field line. That is a fair ball. Hamilton picks it up, fires at the second base, and almost got him.
What a great throw from Hamilton. Be able to get himself in very good throwing position, feel that ball off the wall, and then a perfect throw to Ibar. Hose able to beat it out, his third double. Just got the foot in and able to keep the foot on the base, which is impressive because he came in a hard late slide. Sometimes as a base runner, difficult to stay on the base.
Double for Hose. Third of the year. Leadoff man on board. Third time in this game that has occurred. Grossman had a single in the first. Villar a walk into third, and now Hose here with the double in the fifth. Villar offers at that pitch. It's fouled. Fortunately, it's an 0-1 count. No official at bat.
Great speed. Not going to be an easy play even if he squares around the bunt. Calhoun coming in. Chris Nelson in also at third.
4 sacrifice bunts for Villar. Bunts one on the third base side. Jerome to the backhand. Gets rid of it quickly and safe at first. That's almost one of those. You almost need the bare hand.
Yeah, it's the only play you're going to have, especially with Villar's speed. Forcing the bunt down the line. Chris Nelson went back to third to try to have a play at third base. But no chance at that. And Jerome, with his momentum going away from the throw to first base, didn't have as much on it either. Villar probably on the move right away here.
Infield base hit for Villar. First and third. Nobody out. Robbie Grossman, the left fielder, 1 for 2 tonight with a single and a strikeout. Good lead for Villar at first base. Grossman takes outside. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
It's a situation if Jerome Williams is trying to think in terms of limit the damage. You got out of that situation earlier in the game with a man on third with no outs, with 2 punch outs and a ground out. This with a lot of speed on the bases and at the plate. You're thinking in terms of limited the damage.
Grossman yanks one past Calhoun. It'll bring in a run. Villar heading to third, and it's 1-0 Houston. 3 straight hits now for the Stros to start this 5th.
That's why I was saying sometimes you worry so much about a team's running game that you kind of speed up your delivery and you make a mistake. But if you shorten it up as far as the damage against you by making your quality pitches, you can avoid a big inning. Now all of a sudden they're in a situation they can have a big inning.
Brett Wallace, the batter. He's the first baseman. Jerome at 82 pitches now. Wallace 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Bounces this one to third. Nelson comes charging in. Fires at first. Nice dig by Calhoun.
Well played by Chris Nelson. He looked back. Made VR freeze where he was at. More of a difficult reaction to go home. Well, he makes the play at first, but keeps him at third. Well played by Chris Nelson. He checks back to see if he was going to go. And Calhoun able to scoop that low throw, and they prevent it. VR from scoring.
Grossman ends up at second base, so second and third. 1 out. Jose Altuve the batter. The Astros up 1-0. 0 for 2 tonight. One ground ball to short, 1 to second. Astros with 5 hits, the Angels with 1.
Altuve very aggressive, generally swings at the first pitch. Use that as a pitcher against him, that aggressiveness. See if you can get a slow roller in the infield, especially your corner infielders.
Calhoun playing just about even with the bag at first. This one's a breaking ball away. Outfield very shallow. Good speed on the bases with VR at third base and Grossman at second. Now the 1-0. Breaking pitch, swing and a miss. Now, do you like that slow breaking ball with the man at third base?
No, because you can make contact with that. You can hit a flare or a little roller in the infield slow enough with VR speed. He's going to score on contact. A hard slider, much better chance of swing and miss.
That's down and in, 2 balls and a strike.
Because you could be fooled as a hitter, but you could still somehow make contact. The hard, sharp slider, you won't be able to adjust that swing enough to make contact.
Two 1 on the way. 3 balls and a strike.
Number 2-1 changeup.
Jason Castro, the catcher, is on deck. Here's a 3-1. Altuve rolls one down the line, foul. Full count. Now slider away. Or do you throw a hard slider in?
Hard slider away.
Right.
He's got pretty good coverage inside.
Worry about getting around one of them, head just kind of spin up there.
Exactly, because that becomes hittable. Even if you're off balance as a hitter, you can still hit that well if it's spinning on the inner part of the plate.
Fourth full count for Williams, 3-2. He walked him.
Altuve shows some pretty good patience in that at bat. Generally a guy very aggressive.
So at 89 pitches, Mike Butcher's going to come out. There's some movement going on in the Angels bullpen. Long conversation. Juan Gutierrez getting ready. Be the first man up for Mike Scioscia. Castro with a walk and a ground out. 0 for 1. No place to put him if you're Jerome. 89 pitches, 54 strikes, 5 punch outs, and now 3 walks.
Not easy to double up either. He's only grounded into 3 double plays, although he does strike out often. 112 punch outs.
Castro's getting on the board courtesy of the Grossman RBI single that scored Hose. He led off this inning with a double down the right field line. First one on the way. Castro takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Fouled off to the left. Astros this year, 273 average with the bases loaded. 2 grand slams for them. But overall as a team, just a 229 batting average with men in scoring position. Villar, Grossman, and Altuve. Very good speed on the bases for the Stros. A ball and a strike on Castro with 1 out. 2-1.
It's one of those tough pitches. Borderline could have been a strike. Instead of being ahead of the count 1-2, you can throw something off speed. Breaking ball, change up. Instead, more likely have to go with a fastball now.
This one bounced foul. Evens up the count. One run, 5 hits, 4 left on for Houston. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left on for the Angels. Halos have had just 1 base runner tonight. Hank Conger with a leadoff single back in the 3rd. Did not advance beyond first base. Here comes the 2-2. Castro gets jammed and flares it foul.
Well, you wonder if Jerome will be tempted to throw another cut fastball in or throw that 2-seam fastball in.
Game hitting streak for Jason Castro. Another 2-2. This one bounced foul again into the dugout. .31 doubles for Castro this year. Most for an Astros catcher in a single season in club history. Brett Ausmus, previous leader with 25. He did that back in '97. Gutierrez ready to go in the bullpen. Full count. More than likely the last batter regardless of what happens here. It all started with a 28 pitch first inning for Jerome. No, he got out of that inning without allowing a run. A lot of pitches, and the pitches have mounted. 3-2. Foul back.
Seen some pitches in this at bat. 8 so far. Well, if you're Jerome, you want to have an opportunity to be able to potentially at some, be able to pick up a win. You'd love to be able to get a double play ball.
3-2 yanked foul. In front of Dave Clark, first base coach for Houston. There's Dave.
Good player back in his day. Strong. Gold glove boxer back in his high school days.
Conger and Ibar talking things over with Jerome Williams. Chris Carter, the DH, is on deck. Long top of the 5th, 1 run in, bases loaded with 1 out. Another 3-2. And he walked him. 2-0 Houston. Castro picks up his 46th RBI. Here comes Mike Scioscia. Jerome Williams is done for the night. Juan Gutierrez being summoned from the bullpen with a pitching change. We're in the 5th. 2-0 Astros.
She goes to the bullpen. Juan Gutierrez coming in for Jerome Williams, who went 4 1/3. 4 walks, 5 punch-outs. 2 runs so far allowed. Hopefully Gutierrez is able to get through this inning and limit the damage. The Angels a chance here. Don't want to fall too far behind, especially the way Brad Peacock has thrown the ball so far.
Yeah, a good way to do that would be getting ahead and throwing strikes early on. So in and out, who's in, who's out. Jerome is done after 4 1/3. Juan Gutierrez in, 38th game of the year, 0-3 mark. 4.23 earned run average overall. Made his big league debut with the Astros back in 2007. He'll be facing Chris Carter, the DH, with Grossman standing at 3rd, Altuve at 2nd, and Castro at 1st. Chris Carter 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. 1 looking, 1 swinging. Calhoun playing in at first base. Nelson, third baseman, playing back. There's the first one. Breaking pitch in for a strike. Gutierrez, one of the few relievers that did not get into the game yesterday in New York. Last pitched on Tuesday, 2/3 of an inning. Gave up a run on a hit, had 2 strikeouts and a walk. No 1 line to left field. Mike Trout moving in, dives and makes the catch. It'll bring in a run. It's 3-0 Houston. It goes to the sac fly. 2 outs now here in the 5th.
That's going to save a couple runs, so that ball is going to go down in the corner, especially when you commit to diving like Mike Trout did and able to make this play. He's made a couple outstanding defensive plays in left field tonight.
Carter picks up his 57th RBI. Again, trying to sneak a fastball on the inside part of the plate. 2 down, and here's Matt Dominguez, the third baseman, who singled up the middle his last time up. 1 for 2 tonight.
And a little bit of adjustment when you've played a number of games in a row in center field as you move back to left. The baseball off the bat's different, and the read's different in left field as compared to center.
Breaking pitch on the corner for a strike. 3 runs charged to Jerome for his 4 1/3. Still responsible for Altuve at second and Castro at first. Breaking pitch. This one's fouled off to the right. Back up breaking ball. 0-2. All the while, Brad Peacock, the starter for Houston, just sitting in the dugout. Now with a 3-0 lead. This is lifted in the air right. Hamilton, a couple of steps to his right, is there. The inning comes to an end, but Houston strikes for 3, and they do it on 3 hits and a couple of walks. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. Angels trailing 3-0. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP.
That's a great look down there, the 80s look.
Yeah, why not, right?
With Guns N' Roses?
Sure. Gnarly. Eric Ibar, Chris Nelson, Hank Conger. Thought about dressing up for 80s night here. Decided against it. Couldn't find the right outfit to portray Mr. Hand. You would have made a great Spicoli.
Oh, there's no question. My Van shoes, that would have been a good look for me, especially with my suit. It would have been great.
Peacock back to work with a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Eric Ibar. Eric grounded out his first time up.
That's still maybe the best scene ever, when you get pizza delivered to your classroom.
Two balls and 1 strike. Peacock with 4 strikeouts and no walks, just 1 hit. Conger base hit him to third. Bouncer back toward the middle. Altuve to his right, has it to the backhand, got rid of it quickly, but the throw pulls Wallace off the bag, and the ball trickles into the dugout. So Ibar will end up at second. First time tonight the Angels have a man in scoring position.
9th error of the season for Altuve. Great play as far as the coverage and the quick throw. Baseball got by Wallace and trickles into the dugout. Wallace tried to get off the base, knock it down. But what a play Altuve almost made. Would have been pretty close. And Ibar gets a hit, advances on the error by Altuve's throw.
Leadoff man on. Here's Chris Nelson. Hit it well, but to right field to L.J. Hose. 0 for 1. Wallace way off the line at first. This was fouled off to the right. Interesting alignment defensively for Houston with Villar, the shortstop, trying to keep Ibar close to the bag, and Wallace trying to cover up that hole between first and second.
A lot of gaps in the infield for Nelson. Tell by that first swing from Chris Nelson, he was trying to, at the very least, hit the ball to the right side of the field.
0-1. Breaking pitch, fouled off to the right.
And let the baseball travel, try to punch it that way. Now behind in the count, your approach changes. Now you're looking to make contact.
Conger on deck. Breaking pitch in the air to left center. This will chase both Barnes and Grossman back. Barnes makes the catch. Ibar's tagging. The throw to third is not in time.
A wise decision by Barnes. As a center fielder, you have a better chance to get yourself in the throwing position and make a strong throw to third as compared to the left fielder who's going away from the strong throw. Barnes got himself in great throwing position. Pretty accurate throw, but Ibar too fast. Advances to third. Good at bat, especially after being behind in the count by Chris Nelson. Gets the job done and advances Eric Ibar to third.
Conger steps in. He's 1 for 1 with a single in the third inning. Dominguez playing just about even with the bag at third base. Off the line. Altuve out at shallow right. The overshift. One ball, no strikes. .62 pitches thrown by Peacock, and as we pointed out in the last start against Texas, threw the ball well, and that he allowed just 1 run on 3 hits in 6 innings against the Rangers. Did walk 4. As Conger pops it up. Brad Wallace drifting over near the railing, runs out of room. Bullpen for Houston, much like it's been for the Angels, has struggled.
No lead is safe for that Astro bullpen. Hank Conger has to get the job done. Just run across one way or the other, even if it means making an out to get it done.
As far as staff ERAs, the Angels 14th in the American League, Houston 15th. One ball, one strike. Lays off, and it's 2-1. Rule of thumb for the base runner at third base, you can get down the line as far as the third baseman is off the bag. Difficult to try to attempt to pick off the third. 2-1 pitch outside. 3 balls and a strike. Grant Green on deck.
Certainly contact playing on for Ibar.
Three balls and a strike with 1 out, a man at third. The Angels down 3-0. Carter pulls this one to first. Wallace has it. The feed to Peacock. The run comes in. It's 3-1 Stros. 2 outs now. Carter picks up the 16th run batted in.
Chipping away at that lead. Responding right back. No shutdown inning for Peacock.
So Grant Green will step in. A strikeout victim. His first plate appearance was in the third inning. Started his big league career, as we just showed you there, with Oakland going 0 for 15. 12 hits now as an Angel.
Great series in New York, 5 for 11.
Two balls and no strikes. Green now. Green on the scoreboard, representing is that Marty McFly? Back to the Future.
Yes, looks like it's good luck.
In for a strike. 3-1. And there's a walk. First issued by Peacock in the game. This one comes with 2 outs in the fifth. This being the first of a 6-game homestand in the upcoming schedule. 2 more against the Stros, 3 against the Cleveland Indians. And then the cross-country odyssey, 1 of 2 for the Angels. Begins next Friday. Seattle for 3. 3 in St. Petersburg, Florida against the Rays. And then 3 up to Milwaukee against the Brewers. That'll be the last interleague series of the year for the Angels.
Get to see the Rays for the first time this year also.
Yeah.
Same thing last time in Cleveland, and Cleveland coming here after the Astros leave town.
And then when we come back home, the Rays come back home as part of that homestand. Texas, I believe, is in that homestand as well. And then it's back out on the road for another, this time a 4-city trip with the makeup game in Minnesota. It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Peter Borges, strikeout victim in the third, 0 for 1. Halo's getting one of those runs back here in the fifth. Bunts and foul. It's an 0-1 count. Apparently, Brad Peacock wasn't watching Paul Schreiber throw the baseball back at him since the one ball was being put out of play. Breaking pitch off the end of the bat, rolled to Wallace at first base. And that is the third out of the inning. The Angels do get a run on a hit, leave a man on. We've played 5. Houston leads at 3-1.
Grossman base hit against Jerome Williams. And right field scores that first run of the game. Brad Peacock's been very good so far, even though coming in this game hasn't necessarily had the great numbers, but his changeup and fastball command have been pretty good through 5 innings as the Astros lead this one 3-1 here in the top of the 6th.
4 strikeouts, career high 10, August the 4th against Minnesota. Barnes, Hose, and VR. Brandon Barnes 0 for 2 with a fly ball to left and a fielder's choice. Two balls and no strikes. Gutierrez came on the relief of Jerome Williams in the 5th inning. Jerome ended up going 4 to 3rd, gave up 3 runs, all earned. 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. Breaking pitch, sky to left. But Barnes tried to back like that one. Got 1 out. Hey, America's new sports network is coming tomorrow, and it all begins with an epic night of premieres, beginning with UFC Fight Night as Shogun Rua takes on Chael Sonnen, followed by the news and highlight show fans have been waiting for. It's Fox Sports Live. It all begins tomorrow only on Fox Sports 1. One out, nobody on for L.J. Hose. 1 for 2. He started the rally for the Astros in the 5th with a double down the right field line. His 3rd of the year. Fouls that one at the plate. It's an 0-1 count. Hose at AAA this year was hitting .304, 3 home runs, 40 runs batted in. It's a Norfolk Orioles AAA team. 0-2.
Juan has a real good curveball when he stays back. It doesn't rush that throw. Good break to it.
Throws another one.
See, he got a little quick on that one. Unable to play catch up with his arm. It's already landing. Very difficult to repeat your mechanics when you're that quick.
Now the 1-2 pitch. This is fouled off to the right. Two balls, two strikes. HOU's 23 years of age. St. John's High School in Washington, D.C. Third round pick in 2008. Check swing foul. Last year for Baltimore, Brooks Robinson minor league player of the year. Starting at Double-A and finishing up at Triple-A. Acquisition of HOU's allowed Houston to flip Justin Maxwell to Kansas City. Royals, by the way, took 2. That didn't happen too often in Detroit.
Low scoring games also.
2-1 and 3-0 against the Tigers.
Royals lead the American League in ERA, team ERA.
Kansas City now 6.5 back in the Central. Cleveland at the start of the day was 6.5 back. Cleveland currently tied with Oakland 2-2 in the 7th. 3-2. Back up the middle, a base hit. You're talking about Juan's breaking pitch. Fastball is fairly straight, even though it's at 95. So you got to be able to locate that a little bit better and or finish guys off when you get ahead.
Yeah, especially that's why it's important to be able to maintain those mechanics on his breaking ball. If he has a straight fastball, even though it's firm, it's more of a thing you could spot it. If you don't hit your location, you'll be able to throw your curveball for a strike.
Jonathan Villar, the shortstop, steps in. He's been on board twice with a walk and a single. Scored a run in the 5th. HOU's with 4 stolen bases in the big leagues. Been caught once. 7 for 14 in the minor leagues this season. Ball 1. Buddy Boucher is getting ready. Big issue for the Angels bullpen, especially since the All-Star break. Falling behind hitters. It's been across the board. And here to me is, I know these calls come from the dugout as far as a throw over or a step off. To me, you're doing more of a disservice by asking him to do this as opposed to worrying about the guy at the plate.
Well, as a pitcher, you should be able to take care of the business yourself. You don't necessarily have to have a call from the manager or your bench coach. Be quicker to the plate, allow your catcher to have a shot.
Runner goes. Nelson picks it on the backhand. Villar retired for round number 2, and HOU's ends up at second. Will hit and run action.
What I mean by that as a pitcher, you learn to hold the ball, slow down a potential threat of a stolen base because you make that base stealer stand still, and then you have a quick pitch or a slide step. The more you can do that as a pitcher or a pitching staff, the more apt the manager and the bench coach aren't going to put those signs out there so often.
There's Robert Grossman, the leadoff man, 2 for 3 with a couple of singles and an RBI. One ball, no strikes. Grossman originally the Pirate system, 6th round pick in 2008. Came over in the Wandy Rodriguez trade. Takes a breaking ball for a strike, 1-1. A 3-1 Houston lead here at the top of the 6th inning. The other thing too that we've talked about a number of times is that not only falling behind, tempo for guys coming out of the bullpen. This one's fouled off to the left.
And this is generally an aggressive Houston Astro lineup. They're up there swinging the bat. So if you can get that first pitch in the strike zone, then all of a sudden you can expand it. If you fall behind, then all of a sudden they're going to be more selective against you.
Ho's at second. Here's the 1-2. This is bouncer over to second base. Grant Green has it. And he comes to an end. Well, to the bottom of the 6th, the Angels trailing it 3-1. Tomorrow, prior to the Angels-Astros game, you can get your vehicle appraised at Angel Stadium and meet Angel legend Troy Percival, courtesy of CarMax. Go to angels.com/CarMax to sign up for your complimentary parking and get your fast free appraisal by a CarMax specialist.
Heard you singing some Beatles songs out there?
Yeah. You're going to go down there and join them and sing some songs?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you going to wait for the post-game concert with Rain?
I'm going to go down and sing with Percy to get everyone ready.
Top of the order for the Halos here in the 6th inning. Schuck, Calhoun, and Trout. Facing Brad Peacock. 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hits allowed for the Astros starter. JB 0 for 2. So he looks at strike 1. Puts it down a left field line, tailing toward the seats. Grossman unable to get there. An 0-2 count. JV 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. 1-2.
What is 76 pitches thrown for Peacock so far in the game. 47 strikes. Just one walk allowed.
Not bad for a guy who came in with 38 punch-outs and 23 walks.
Just 42 innings pitched.
JB swings and misses. The ball gets away from Castro, but Castro applies the tag. 1 out. Hey fans, make sure to enter to win the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado at Diamond Field. Box Angels tickets with the Summer of Silverado giveaway. Enter online today at angels.com/Chevy.
You can see his look in his eyes. Really confident now on the mound. And we were talking about in between the first inning when he took the mound, had a quick 1-2-3. You could sense that he felt confident.
Calhoun takes up and away, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. Cole getting the start tonight at first base. Mark Trumbo with a day off. 0 for 2 tonight is Calhoun. Fly ball to left and a ground ball to second base. Lifts this one in the air to left field. Grossman moving back on it. Has a beat. 2 down. So 2 outs. Mike Trout coming up. He's done something special tonight once again defensively.
Well, back to the wall. Robs Brandon Barnes with a 2-run home run. Cuts off what would be potentially a 3-run double in left field. So great defense for Mike Trout so far in the game. Now looking to do some damage with the bat.
0 for 2 tonight. A pop up to second and a ground ball to short. Takes low. One thing that Peacock has certainly done, and perhaps just perhaps a reflection of their pitching coach Doug Brocail, always like to challenge guys, come after them. We've seen that from certain starters that the Astros have run out there this year.
Pretty consistent fastballs. Talk about a great competitor. Brocail was very good as far as attacking the strike zone and keeping you uncomfortable at the plate.
2 balls and 1 strike. Go back and revisit our Hyundai key to the game.
Boy, coming into this game and looking at the numbers itself, with the rain song, they were going to be raining hits and walks and runs against Peacock, but he's been outstanding so far.
Lays off the off-speed pitch.
Now in a great fastball count for Trout.
Breaking pitch, caught the inside corner. Full count.
You know you're feeling good and confident on the mound when you throw a 3-1 breaking ball and you're leading 3-1. Boy, in a hitter, you're gonna freeze on that, especially if it gets off the plate and in.
Hamilton on deck. 3-2. And he walked it. Second walk issued by Peacock. We'll bring up Hamilton representing the tying run. 85 pitches thrown by the right-hander so far.
Pretty consistent numbers per inning. In the 5th inning, did he throw 19? Everyone else right around 13, 14 range.
And just 4 base runners. 2 hits and 2 walks.
Lefty's hitting 299 against him coming into the game and has allowed 8 home runs to left-handed batters.
First one to Josh is ripped out toward right field. Off the end of the bat, giving chase is Hose, and he'll track it down. Hose was playing very deep and right. Hitting will come to an end. 6 in the books, 3-1 Houston.
Angels baseball is brought to you by Jack's Really Big Chicken Sandwich Combos for only $3.99 plus tax. Go big at a participating Jack in the Box today. And by Chase. Send money to almost anyone, anywhere with your smartphone. Chase, quick pay, so you can.
Houston on top by the score of 3-1. Here's our Captain Morgan game reset. The Astros scoring all 3 of the runs of the 5th inning on 3 hits, 2 walks, and a sacrifice fly, and all 3 charged to Jerome Williams, who lasted 4 1/3 tonight. Halos have 2 hits and 2 walks. That is it. Both hits singles. Mike Trout drew the walk. Now reached base safely in 38 consecutive games. Here the 7th. Buddy Boshears makes his home debut as an Angel. And he'll be facing 2, 3, and 4. Wallace, Altuve, and Castro. Called up during the road trip in Cleveland. Done a nice job. Faced one batter, however, yesterday. Gave up a hit. That hit came around to score. Brett Wallace, the first baseman, 0 for 3 tonight. Bounces the first one foul. 0-1 count. 2 ground outs and a punch out for Wallace. The 0-1. Up and in. I think it's away from Conger.
Tried to snap that breaking ball off and go down and away. Slipped out of his hand.
Buddy, a 4th round pick by the Angels in 2008 out of Calhoun Community College in Decatur, Alabama. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
That's a good finish off on that breaking ball from Boshears.
Native of Huntsville, Alabama. .25 years old. This one hooked down the right field line, a breaking ball. Wallace is on board. He's going to try to go to second. He is in there with a leadoff double.
And now it's time for our Carl's Jr. Sports Update around the majors. About the new head man for the Fightin' Phils, Ryan Sandberg, the Hall of Famer, taking over the interim job as the manager for the Fightin' Phils. Didn't work out today as they lost to the Dodgers 4-0. And MLB expands the replay. Just touched base on it a little bit earlier. First 6 innings, you get an opportunity to be able to check in the replay. Then the 7th, 8th, and 9th, you have 2 challenges. So 3 during the course of the game. Wise decision as far as checking the replay and getting all those calls right. So maybe they'll change that down the road, more than 1 in the first 6 innings. We don't know that for sure, but for the time being, job well done in those owners' meetings as far as getting that replay situation settled.
Still have to get approval by the Players Association and the umpires. 2 balls and no strikes. So it'll be voted on, I guess, at the owners' meeting in November. I'm not a big fan of the whole challenges thing, because so you're basically saying that there could be a play that is incorrect that will stand because you may be out of a challenge. Still think the 5th man in a booth making the calls immediately, best way to go.
Yeah, but for baseball to even make any progress at all when it comes to that, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it'll evolve. It'll evolve, but I mean,
certainly would have loved to see replay in New York.
Yeah,
and that tag up play. Chris Nelson was ruled out, left too soon. Soriano made a play in left field.
3 balls and a strike. Are you surprised with Charlie being released, let go in Philadelphia?
No question. All-time leader as far as wins. 5 division titles. A world championship. They lost the World Championship to the Yankees in '09. You think about the Phillies in that organization over the years, I think they've had more losses than any other organization. Yet Charlie did a great job as far as taking that club to that next level.
A double and now a walk by Buddy Boshears to start this 7th inning.
Ryan Sandberg's been groomed for a while to be a manager. He thought he was going to get the job with the Chicago Cubs, but has ties to Philadelphia. He was originally a Philly before being traded to the Chicago Cubs.
Halos will get their bullpen working again. And Mike Butcher's going to come out and allow that bullpen to get ready. And again, throwing strikes, inability to do so, getting yourself into trouble.
See, my feeling still is the pace for the guys out of the bullpen. Just be more aggressive, because what that message that sends to your opponent, that you're confident on the mound. The longer you take to deliver a baseball, the more your opponent thinks you're hesitant as far as throwing strikes.
Nine pitches, 5 balls, 4 strikes. Wallace, the base runner, at second. Altuve at first. 3-1 Houston here in the 7th. Jason Castro with a couple of walks and a ground down. He's also picked up an RBI. Lays off the first one. Again, behind in the count. Fouled back off of Conger. Count even up at 1-1 now. 3 runs, 7 hits, an error, and 7 left on for Houston tonight. The Angels with 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, 3 stranded. Wallace a leadoff double, and Altuve with the walk. 2-1. And Boshears just can't find the strike zone with any consistency.
More likely you're going to see Mike Scioscia go to the bullpen with Carter on deck. Right-handed batter.
Ground ball to second. Green has it. Flips to Ibar for 1. Wheeling at first. Double play. 2 down.
We'll take that one. Nice play by Green to Ibar. Over to Calhoun. 4-6-3 double play. Hit well by Castro, but a good feed. Tough little hop. Flip over to Ibar. Easy double play. We're able to get the feed, able to get it away from the runner trying to take him out, and Altuve.
Buddy Boshears is done with 2 outs and a man at third base. A pitching change here in the 7th. The Angels down 3-1. Houston pro athlete. Right now, Hakeem Olajuwon leading the charge. 65% of the vote.
Yeah, 2 world championships for the Rockets. I love watching Earl Campbell run the football, though. You talk about a guy that just kept getting hit and kept going and kept going. We're Nolan Ryan, the Express, all-time leader for strikeouts with the Astros and the Angels.
Kevin Jepson taking over. 42nd game, a 1-3 mark at a 4.36 ERA. Kevin pitched yesterday, a third of an inning. Comes in with 2 outs and a man standing at third base. That man is Brett Wallace, who led off the 7th with a double. And it's Chris Carter, the DH, at the plate. Carter 0 for 2, had a sac fly in the 5th, picking up his 57th run batted in. One ball, no strikes. One ball, one strike. Here's the 1-1. Broken bat looper out to shallow center field. That falls in for a hit, and it's 4-1 Houston. And run gets charged to Boshiers.
Second RBI of the inning for Carter.
Matt Dominguez at the plate, the third baseman, a 1 for 3 night, single back in the 4th.
Carter with 13 RBI against the Angels this year.
A 1 pitch, breaking ball. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Angels in the bottom of the 7th inning already with their hands full against Brett Peacock. We'll have Ivar, Nelson, and Conger due up. It's inside. 2 balls and a strike. Angels get action going again in their bullpen. It's Joe Blanton this time. Blanton pitching the series against the Yankees Tuesday night through 51 pitches. That was that 14-7 Yankee win. Here it's 4-1 in the 7th inning with 2 outs and a man in first. 2-1 offering. Ground ball back up the middle off of Jepson. Green unable to throw out Dominguez, and that's a base hit. See where that got Jepson.
I wonder if it got his pitching hand, the way he's looking at his hand. Hit well by Dominguez right back up the middle. Real hard back up the middle.
Ball
looking at his
up on
hand.
him.
Yes. Take a throw to see if your hand is numb or arm.
It's pretty good after getting hit in the hand. First warm-up pitch is 96.
It's an angry 96 after getting hit with that baseball.
So Jepson is going to leave here with 2 men on and 2 outs. So Joe Blanton will be coming into the game. A pitching change here in the 7th. Houston on top 4-1.
Angels baseball is brought to you by AT&T, Rethink Possible, and by El Pollo Loco, Crazy You Can Taste.
Houston leads it 4-1 here in the 7th inning. Couple of men on, still trying to get that 3rd out. Kevin Jepson taken out of the game after getting that bouncer back up the middle off the bat of Matt Dominguez that hit his pitching hand. So Joe Blanton is summoned. And even though Blanton was already warming up in the bullpen, he gets as many pitches as necessary to get ready here on the game mound. 2-13 record of 5.86 ERA. Mentioned he last pitched on Tuesday.
Joe's job right now is to get through this inning and give some innings for Mike Scioscia for the club to get back in this game, especially at the bottom of the 7th.
And when this inning continues, it'll be Brandon Barnes coming to the plate. A couple of 2-out hits and a run here in the 7th inning. And it's significant in that, something that we've touched on all season long. The Angels lead Major League Baseball in most hits allowed with 2 outs and most runs allowed with 2 outs. Hey folks, tomorrow from 11:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. you're invited to meet C.J. Wilson at the Metro PCS store on Bristol Street in Santa Ana. For more info, call 714-730-2876. So Bland's ready to go, and then Barnes stepping up 0 for 3. 2 fly balls to left field. Fielder's choice as well. Chris Carter second and Dominguez at first. No balls and a strike on Barnes. Oh, and 2. That one bouncing into the dugout. Blanton, that Tuesday game against New York, 2 innings, he gave up 6 runs, 7 hits, including a home run, 1 strikeout, 1 walk.
5th pitcher of the game used by Mike Scioscia now. coming on the game last night.
Wow.
Yesterday, I should say,
Yeah.
with 6 pitchers used.
Yesterday, C.J. Wilson went 6 2/3. The Angels cruising, unable to just put it away. That's why they needed so many relievers. And today, Jerome Williams lasting just 4 1/3, giving up 3 runs.
Wild pitch shown for Blanton, that breaking ball in the dirt. Spun away from Conger.
Fouled off to the right.
Blanton hasn't pitched a whole lot out of the bullpen in his career. This is the first game since 2004 in which he's been on the mound with inherited runners. 2 on here.
Two balls, 2 strikes. '15th career relief appearance. Two on the way. Inside a full count. L.J. Hose is on deck, the right fielder. Payoff pitch. Barnes hits one out to right center field. Hamilton giving chase, and he'll track it down.
Wow, is the baseball carrying?
Yeah. Warm day here. 1 run in for Houston. 7th inning stretch time here at the Big A. Stroh's on top 4-1. Inning. Let's go back to our ceremonial first pitch. It's Miss California throwing out the first pitch. Guess who caught it? Mark Trumbo.
California.
Almost as tall as Trump with those heels. She just sang, take me out to the ballgame. 7th inning stretch. Eric Ibar leading things off against Brad Peacock, who delivers strike 1. Ibar, Nelson, and Conger for the Angels here in the 7th. This one's popped up shallow right. L.J. Hose racing in.
He's got some good coverage out in right field. He's had to run a long way on a couple plays.
Ibar now 1 for 3. Chris Nelson, a third baseman, a couple of fly balls out. One to right, one to center. Two and 0. 90 pitches thrown by Peacock with one out here in the seventh.
Stretch out the last couple of games, got well over 100 pitches thrown for him his last couple starts.
Bouncer toward the middle. VR bobbles it. That allowed Nelson to reach.
Tricky hop, feel the glove and off the body, unable to recover. Second error of the game for the Astros. Lead the American League in that category as far as errors in fielding percentage at the bottom.
And Conger 1 for 2, a single in the third inning. RBI ground out in the fifth. Good lead for Nelson at first. 1 ball, no strikes. Pretty consistent. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. That is ripped out to right field. Hose is not going to get this one. One hopper off the fence. Hank hustling, trying to get to second. He is in there with a double. Second hit of the night, his 9th double of the season.
Now 3 for 4 in his career versus Peacock. Got a single, a double, a home run. Turned on this one, one hops the wall. Hose with the bare hand, fires it in, close play. Conger got his 9th double of the season.
So runners at second and third with 1 out. And here's Grant Green. A strikeout into third, a walk into fifth, so he's 0 for 1. And here comes Doug Brocale, the pitching coach. Josh Zeid getting ready. Green batting in the 8th spot of the order tonight, with Peter Borges returning to the lineup. Infield will play back with a 3-run lead. Astros with 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th. The Angels' lone run coming in the 5th inning. Nelson standing at third and Conger at second. Green lays off the breaking pitch. Did not go. Right after with a fastball away.
You have to get the job done. You have to get at least 1, if not 2 of these runs home. Take advantage of a mistake and start at the inning. You are unable to make that play. Let the baseball play him. Mitsunura, second of the game for the Astros.
One pitch. Lays off. 2 balls and 1 strike.
This may be his last batter here.
Two starts to go, went 7 innings. You were talking about extending him as far as pitch count is concerned. 2-1. Fouled off the right. .97 pitches thrown by Peacock. Peter Borges is on deck. 2-2. Breaking pitch. Pulled off the glove of Dominguez and into left. That'll bring in 1 run. Conger will stop at third. Green with an RBI single makes it 4-2 Houston.
Good at bat for Green. He got fought off a couple tough pitches. Gets that ball by Dominguez. Not an easy thing to do. Third baseman for the Astros. At his prep step, ready to make a play. Ball gets by him just off the glove. Just gets the end of the glove and slows it down, but a base hit and a run scored.
Runners at the corners, and here comes Bo Porter. So we are going to have a pitching change. Peacock at 98 pitches is done after 6 1/3. A pitching change here at the Big A. We're at the bottom of the 7th inning. The Halos have scored 1. Have runners at the corners with Peter Borges coming to the plate, and a 4-2 Houston lead. Guys that are on base, he's allowed 2 runs. As Bo Porter goes to the bullpen and brings in Josh Zeed. Zeed pitching in his 8th big league game. 0-1 mark at a 9.95 ERA. 6 1/3 innings, 7 hits. He has struck out 6 and walked 3. Had a very good spring training with the Houston Astros and spent most of the year at AAA. 43 relief appearances for the Red Hawks. Was 4-1 with 13 saves and a 3.50 ERA.
Yeah, he's got a firm fastball. He throws it 92 to 96. Hard slider, changeup.
Was with the Phillies and acquired on July 29, 2011 in the Hunter Pence deal. That also netted them Jared Cosart, who started the other night. Big-time talent in their rotation. First baseman John Singleton and outfielder Domingo Santana. So Peter Borges will bat with runners at first and third. One out. Borges so far tonight has struck out and grounded out. So he's 0 for 2.
Well, this looks like he has that tendency to overthrow.
Good lead for Grant Green over at first base. Quick throw to first, and diving back in is Green. First one to Borges. Fastball in there for a strike. Seed from New Haven, Connecticut. Went to Vanderbilt. Tenth round pick by the Phillies in 09. 0-1 pitch. Borges lays off. 1 strike.
As he, with his mechanics, he rears back. His front shoulder flies open. You see inconsistency in the strike zone. It certainly has a good live arm, though.
One pitch. Borges swinging a miss on the off speed. 1-2.
Good sharp slider.
Multi-hit game for Hank Conger. He stands at third base. Green with an RBI single stands at first. J.B. Shuck, the leadoff man, on deck. The 1-2. Broken bat bouncer to third. Dominguez fires to Altuve. The relay to first. Double play. The inning comes to an end. The Angels do get a run. We're through 7. It's 4-2 Houston. 2. Want to remind you, Fox Sports 1 kicks off tomorrow and will be available on all major TV providers. Go to foxsports1.com to find out what channel Fox Sports 1 will be on in your area. Kicking off tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, or you can stick around after the game. Just stay up, 3 a.m.
Yes.
Pacific time.
Highlight some scores, yes. Might as well do it.
Joe Bland back out on the mound. He got the last out of the 7th. Then he'll face 8, 9, and 1. Hose, VR, and Grossman for Houston. Brad Peacock thanking Josh Zeed for getting that double play ball.
Ends up being 2 runs allowed, but both unearned.
Hose, the right fielder, looks at a strike. Two for 3 night, including a double. Breaking pitch, bounce to short. 1 away. It'll bring up the shortstop, Jonathan Villar. As a Peacock goes 6 1/3, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 unearned runs.
I thought his pace on the mound was very good tonight. Fastball command was solid. Changed speeds very well. And it's so important for a pitcher, the pace of the game. And you set the tone as a pitcher on the mound.
No balls and 2 strikes. Told that Kevin Jepson left the game, the bruised right hand. This would bounce to first. Calhoun will take it. 2 down.
And that got back quickly. Him on the mound. When you deliver the baseball, you're 50 feet away. Dominguez in a fastball count got a fastball and hit that well up the middle, right off the hand of Kevin Jepson.
Robbie Grossman, the leadoff man, the left fielder, steps in now with 2 outs, nobody on. 2 singles and an RBI. The Angels in the bottom of the 8th inning will have the top of their order coming up, and Chuck Calhoun and Trout. Looks like Zeed will be coming back out. Two balls, no strikes. 9 hit for the Astros, 4 for the Angels. Broken bat bouncer back to the mound. Joe Bland with a 1, 2, 3, 8th. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Still 4-2 Houston. top. Josh Zeid is indeed back on the mound for the Astros, and the Angels setting up the top of their order here in the 8th. J.B. Shuck, Cole Calhoun, and Mike Trout. So he got that big double play ball off the bat of Peter Borges, snapped his bat. 5-4-3 round the horn double play. So J.B. Shuck can kind of work his way on board. He's 0 for 3 tonight with a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. One 0 count. See, kind of Dane De La Rosa like a little bit with the
pretty tall, the way drop and drive, utilize the back leg to be able to drive towards the plate.
2 balls, no strikes. Lefty Kevin Chapman getting ready. Two and one. Back toward the middle of the yard to his left has it. Fires the first, and Shuck is the first down here in the 8th. Here comes Cole Calhoun.
See that arm strength that Yar has. Last thing, let that ground ball play him. This time more aggressive.
Cole is 0 for 3. A couple of fly balls to left and a ground out. One ball, no strikes. Cole now 0 for his last 13. Ahead of the count though now. At 2-0. Grossman played very shallow in left field. That's kind of the way that the Yankees ended up pitching Calhoun, and the Astros, for the first 3 at-bats, have done the same, staying away from him. Two and one.
And Cole just has to relax at the plate. He's trying to force the issue, needs to relax. Baseball travel. Just think in terms of driving the ball to left center field if it's a pitch away, because that's what he's been pitched a lot of late, away.
On the corner, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Trout's been on board or up at the plate 3 times tonight, and all 3 times without someone on base. And Cole strikes out as he foul tipped that one, 2 down. So this will be the 4th plate appearance now for Trout.
Goes upstairs with a fastball, gets it by Calhoun at 96. See, with that 4-seam fastball, rides it upstairs, gets a swing and miss.
Oh for 2 with a walk. 0-1. No balls and 2 strikes. Good off speed pitch. Similar to the one he threw to Borges.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to gear up the 94 to 97 range on his fastball.
Only one other game in Major League Baseball still going on. That is down in San Diego. They're in the bottom of the 9th. Mets leading the Padres 5-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes here. It is 4-2 Houston. The bottom of the 8th. Blanton will be coming back out for the 9th. He's faced 4 batters and has retired all 4. Houston will have 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Jerome Williams knocked out of the game in the 5th inning after just 4 1/3. 3 runs allowed, 5 punch outs, 4 walks. 1-2 pitch. Foul on the first base side. Hamilton on deck. Two outs and nobody on base. This one pulled over to third. Dominguez can't handle it. And Trout is on board with 2 outs, believed to be single. We'll see how they order it.
Yeah, you would think so. That would be a very difficult play for Dominguez if all was hit well. Tough hop by him at third.
Long gone are the days of guys actually squaring up to a baseball.
Putting that ball to the side. And that ball was hit pretty hard, though, by Trout, but still.
Conversation on the mound here with Hamilton at the plate. Chapman's been ready to go for a while. He was actually throwing in the 7th inning as well. Altuve out of shallow right field with the overshift. Now time is called. Here comes Bo Porter. It took him that long to figure out if Chapman was ready to go.
Yeah, because if you don't make that move, lefty versus lefty, and Hamilton hits one out, you're certainly going to be, that's the first question that's going to be asked to Bo Porter. Why didn't you go to a lefty versus Hamilton?
Still no call. And now he makes the pitching change. This is with a lefty that was already warming up. So pitching change. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. 4-2 Houston. Here in the 8th inning, finally got our pitching change sorted out. Kevin Chapman takes over on the mound with 2 outs and Mike Trout standing at first base. Chapman, 26-year-old, native of Coral Springs, Florida, originally in the Royals system. Those are his numbers in the big leagues after making his big league debut last Friday.
Yeah, Chapman fastball 90 to 94 and a hard slider. There's quite a few sliders. Left-handed batters against Chapman this year at the major league level. 0 for 4 against them.
AAA this year in Oklahoma City, 1-2 and a 3.20 ERA. Had 61 strikeouts in 50 and 2/3 innings. Lefties only hit 193 against them. That's why he's in the game to face Josh Hamilton. 2 outs and a man at first. Oh for 3 with a couple of fly ball outs and a strikeout. First one is in for a strike. Breaking pitch. Evens up the count. The 1-1. Hamilton slices and foul. 1-2.
With Chapman throwing fastballs and sliders away, you have the defense playing that way also. Grossman playing just towards that left field line. Barnes deep, but towards left center.
Jammed him with that breaking pitch. To the count still at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Josh Fields getting ready for Houston. Ernesto Frieri playing catch in the Angels pen. Another 1-2. Hamilton pops it up. That's VR, the shortstop in the overshift. That's a pop up to the shortstop. We are through 8 now. 4-2 Houston. Joe Bland still out on the mound. He'll be facing 2, 3, and 4 tomorrow. Take a look at our Chevron starting pitchers. Garrett Richards coming off a complete game. Nice job, even though he took the loss. Did a great job on Monday against New York. Dallas Keuchel going for Houston.
You're looking for that repeating of the mechanics for Garrett Richards. This is a dominant performance in Yankee Stadium. His slider was excellent. His fastball command, when he stays down around the knees, inside and out, it's unhittable.
First one to Brett Wallace, in for a strike. Wallace 1 for 4 tonight, had a double leading off the 7th inning. That was against Buddy Boshiers, who lasted 2/3 of an inning, gave up a run. Jerome gave up 3. No balls and 2 strikes. Missed down. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes. Wallace fouls it off to left. Handles in the bottom of the 9th inning. Vibar, Nelson, and Conger scheduled. Trumbo is available. Still a 2-2. Now the 2-2 again. Just missed outside a full count. Bland thought he had a strike.
It certainly was pretty close.
Payoff pitch. Breaking pitch. Fouled back. Another foul ball. Bland's thrown everything so far to Wallace. Ahead of him at 0-2. Can't finish him off. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 9 pitches seen in this at bat. Make that 10.
Foul that one straight back now. Starting to time him.
Jose Altuve on deck. And he got fastball. 1 out.
This 2-seam fastball had some good running action from Blanton. Started off on just off the inside part of the plate, then around in the middle of the plate at 90.
First one to Jose Altuve is pulled beyond the reach of Chris Nelson and into left. First hit of the night for Altuve, although he'd been on board his 2 previous plate appearances via the walk. So Castro will come up with a man on and 1 out.
That's what you see from Altuve often, is jumping on the first pitch fastball. Now certainly a stolen base threat.
Castro's 0 for 2. A couple of walks for him. One came with the bases loaded, and that was in the 5th. He's picked up an RBI. Astros now with 10 hits on the night. Have stranded 9 base runners. Yet another throw to first. Castro, the cleanup hitter at the plate, still waiting for that first pitch of this plate appearance. Yeah, you don't want to make a mistake to. And it's ball 1.
Yeah, he's been swinging the bat so well.
12-game hitting streak for him.
Gap power.
One ball and strike. Good off-speed pitch. Altuve bluffing as if he were going to second. Ladd came on with 2 outs in the 7th inning with Jepson. Got that bouncer off the bat of Matt Dominguez and hit his bare hand. Taken out of the game after just facing 2 batters, giving up 2 hits.
Good count for the Astros to have some action.
One ball, one strike with 1 out. Now Altuve had a running start. And it's 2 balls and a strike.
Boy, if Joe Bland steps off the pitching rubber, he can just step and throw back to second base. Boy, at that point, there's no chance you can even make it a throw if you're Hank Conger.
And now a hitter's count at 2-1. 3-1, and a wild pitch will advance Altuve to third.
Breaking ball. Spins, it hits the dirt. Conger has his body squared around, but it gets away from him.
Intentionally walk now. Castro. And face Chris Carter, the DH.
Designated hitter number 23, Chris Carter.
Carter 1 for 3. Had a sac fly in the 5th. RBI single in the 7th. 1-0. Altuve with the 1-out base hit, standing at third base, and Castro now at first. Land trying to keep it a 2-run deficit. Bouncer to third, and that is foul.
You see how even on a fastball away, Carter's still trying to pull the ball. So as a pitcher, you got to recognize that. He's looking for something on the inner half. He certainly wants to get something in the inner half so he can hit a fly ball to get the job done. So you got to throw something away if you're Blanton.
One. Carter, this one fouling out of play. A 1-ball, 2-strike count here tonight. 4-2 Houston. They scored 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th. The Angels with solo runs in the 5th and 7th themselves. Check swing. Did he go around? Did not.
That was pretty close.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. 2-2 count now.
See if this angle, see if he crossed the plate. Boy, real close. See if he did check it.
Full count. Now Chris Nelson's going to come in and chat with Blanton. .37 pitches thrown by Joe.
Castro takes off and he's able to get back to first.
It was about halfway to second base. Blanton stepped off and looked to third instead.
Yeah, he has a gift out at first base. If he reacts quick, throws to first.
Ibar playing in now, throw to first.
Good pick by Calhoun.
Now you talk about lack of tempo.
So difficult to make a play behind you when you're at this pace.
3-2, fouled off. Emergency hack by Carter. Keeps his at-bat alive. Still a 3-2 count. Conger ran through all the signs that Joe has. Didn't like any of them. And still can't find the right one. Now we have. Castro takes off. The 3-2 is drilled out to deep left center field. That is gone. 3-run home run by Chris Carter. 7-2 Houston.
Boy, his 5th RBI of the game for Carter. There's great numbers this season and career-wise against the Angels. Now 16 RBI this season against the Angels and 6 home runs. And this baseball went a long way.
So Blanton shook off to a fastball. Pretty much the only pitch that Carter could hit. 23rd home run of the season. Matt Dominguez looks at a strike. It's a career high 5 runs batted in for Chris Carter. As Dominguez rips one out to left center field, and that ball's hit well. Borges and Trout back, and the Astros have gone back to back. 8-2 now. A 3-hit game for Matt Dominguez. That's his 15th home run of the season.
Slider stayed out over the plate, and Dominguez did not miss that one. Glenn now with 28 home runs allowed.
And still only 1 out. There's Brandon Barnes. Two down. It'll bring up L.J. Hose, the right fielder. Hose 2 for 4 with a double and a single, couple of ground outs. Looks like Chi-Jen Lowe is still loosening in the bullpen for Houston. Coming on in the bottom of the 9th inning. This one's lifted out toward right center field and hit well as well. Borges giving chase. Reaps up and he can't get it. Off the wall. Hose with good speed will round second. He's going to try to go to third. And Borges may have hurt himself again.
Shoulder maybe. Or rib cage.
Thumbs up, so maybe that's a good sign.
We try to time his jump and slams into that wall. Boy, he hit that wall extremely hard. Rib cage area looks like he grabbed right away. Wow, that's unbelievable how loud that was. Borges extremely fast, going back as quick as he could to catch that baseball.
Jonathan Villar will step up now, 8th man to bat here tonight against Blanton. Villar 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. Looks at a strike. Well, it was once a 4-2 game to start this 9th inning, but a 4-run 9th has made it a 6-run deficit for the Angels. Blanton again complaining about the non-strike call. That's 1-1. One ball, 2 strikes. Now the 1-2. Swing and a miss. The inning comes to an end, but not before the Houston Astros open it up with 4 here in the ninth. 8-2 Strode. Pitcher on for the Astros, and it's Chi-Jin Low, Taiwanese right-hander, taking over on the mound, and he's off to a great start. His big league career, 6 games, no record, no ERA, 6 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 3 walks.
He's got tremendous movement. He had 5 strikeouts with 6 1/3 innings pitched.
Low signed out of Taiwan back in 2008. And he has put up good numbers in the minor leagues. His biggest issue has been injuries, or nagging injuries. He was putting up good numbers again this year. And with all the moves the Astros have made, especially when they traded Veras to the Detroit Tigers, opened up some spots. Lowe's certainly done a nice job for them. Picked up his first big league save Tuesday night. Had 4 outs in that 5-4 win. The last Astros pitcher to begin his career making 6+ scoreless appearances. Left-handed pitcher Mike Gallo. Back in 2003, and he was scored upon in his first 11 appearances. Ibar, Nelson, and Conger for the Angels here in the ninth. Down 8-2.
What a few names, new names in this bullpen for the Astros since the last time we played them.
Unfortunately for the Angels, much of the same story. The Halos 6-7 against the Astros this year. And losing game 1 of this 3-game set, 8-2. Eric Ibar 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored in the 5th. No balls, 2 strikes. Obviously, first time the Angels have faced Lowe or seen him, so curious. The Astros have action in their bullpen, which is interesting. Then again, maybe it's not.
No.
Chopper foul. Count remains at no balls and 2 strikes. Broken bat bouncer to Altuve in second. 1 out. After the last out, Angels Live post game presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers. Down underneath the hats outside the Big A. Salmon joining me. More than likely hear from the skipper too. Interesting to get his take on how the ninth inning played out. Not only for his ball club or Joe Bland specifically, but the reasoning why the 4-2 game. It was just Bland and nobody else warming up in the pen.
Especially when you consider the Astros bullpen themselves. How many leads they've given up.
Nelson fires it off to the right. It's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nelson 0 for 3, reached on the error in the 7th inning and scored. '96. Good location.
And great whip action on his fastball.
He's been through 3 stops this year. He's put up good numbers overall. Breaking pitch out towards center field. That's a base hit. Left that one over the heart of the plate. Nelson picks up a single with an out. Brings up Hank Conger. Conger, a multi-hit game for him. Single, a double. Also picked up an RBI on the ground out that he had in the 5th inning. Angels never able to figure out Brad Peacock, the starter tonight. Peacock went 6 1/3, gave up 2 runs, both unearned runs. 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Zede came in, did a nice job. Did Chapman as he got Hamilton to pop out to end the 8th inning. And now low here in the 9th.
Yeah, Peacock, his last couple of starts, really pretty solid.
.0 is in there for a strike. Nelson just taking second in a difference. Big rip and a foul ball back. One ball, 2 strikes, 11 pitches thrown by Loeb. Lost tonight. The Angels' division record goes to 18-34. Home mark would go to 30-33. This one yanked foul. Watch out. Skipped off the top of the dugout. Counted a ball and 2 strikes. Last game of Major League Baseball. Everything else is in the books. This one quickly approaching 11 p.m. Halos, remember, yesterday played a 3-hour and 49-minute jam at Yankee Stadium, picking up the win. Long day. That was a game that started at 1 o'clock on the East Coast, and essentially the Angels touched down here in Southern California at 1 a.m. East Coast time. Cocker fouls this one off the left.
Yeah, that was certainly a long, long day yesterday, but at least an Angel victory, especially helped out by Chris Nelson. 2 home runs, including a grand slam, 5 RBI.
Grant Green on deck. This one pulled to the right side. Wallace to the backhand. Lowe's covering. 2 outs. Nelson advances to third. So Grant Green will step up with 2 outs. 1 for 2 tonight. RBI single in the 7th. Second major league RBI. And a meeting on the mound. Both starters, the pitchers of record. Peacock for his 2nd win. Jerome Williams would take the loss. Gave up 3 runs at 4 1/3. No balls and a strike.
96 mile-an-hour fastball.
Foul tip. No balls, 2 strikes. Lowe's ready. Now the 0-2. 97 just missing. Bouncer down the line. Dominguez with a diving stop. Gets up, fires to first base. And the Astros take game 1 by the final of 8-2.
Well, the Astros just played a solid game once again against the Angels. Brad Peacock came in very good at 6 1/3, but Chris Carter dominant. 5 RBI, including a 3-run home run, as the Astros win game 1 of this 3-game series, 8-2. Remember to stay tuned to Angels Live coming up in a few moments with Victor Rojas and Tim Salmon.